It's time for another week of the weekly roundup where I respond to some of your Twitter comments, Facebook comments, YouTube messages that I've gotten on my channel. I love hearing from you guys, and this is a chance to talk back in a more public way than just retweeting you, I guess. So the first is coming from Andrew. This is God Emperor Leto. He says, "First woman who? Hillary would be garbage. She's a true politician like the rest. Now, if Elizabeth Warren ran..." Now, this was when I was discussing possible 2016 nominees, I guess. He's not a fan of Hillary. I understand that. During the last election, I was an Obama man, or I should say 2 elections, I guess. I didn't want President Hillary Clinton because she seemed too conservative. I imagine that if anything, she's even slightly more conservative now. I would prefer Elizabeth Warren, I guess, based on what I know now. When it comes to, the student loan bill that she has and different protections for consumers and things like that, I'm certainly more on her side. I love the rhetoric. I love the way she frames issues. She seems like a very smart woman. And she does, at this point, seem like a true liberal, although understand we don't know nearly as much about her as we do about Hillary Clinton. And maybe she'll run. Maybe during the primary contest we'll find out more. But we also have to bear in mind that we're not simply voting for Hillary, or whatever. It's in comparison to other people. We don't know who else is going to be running. Maybe somebody much more exciting will run. But until then, I have to say that if it's Hillary or a Republican, that's the two-party system we've got. I'd vote Hillary. That's just my honest opinion. So I don't even know where this tweet came from, but Kevin, LAC in Michigan says, "Is there a double standard with guy on guy versus girl on girl public displays of affection? Can anything be done to nix the double standard?" I think that there is almost certainly a double standard for the vast majority of Americans and probably people around the world. Can anything be done to nix it? Yes, I think something can be done. I think that one of the reasons we're more okay with women on women public displays of affection is because we're more familiar with it. Certainly in pornography, but also at frat parties and things like that. I think also that lesbians feel more comfortable because of the social conditioning that they have to be more open about it. I think that almost naturally, both the male on male and female on female displays of affection will change over time. I think that as gay marriage is more and more legalized, we'll see it more. And that, I think, is the only thing stopping it from becoming more common. Anything is sort of jarring the first time you see it, but then you see it again and again and again, and eventually, I don't have to worry about that. I have to get to work. Like, I can't put any more thought into it. It's the same thing with, like, public nudity. Like, the first time you see it, yeah, it's pretty shocking, but if you see it every day, at some point you don't care anymore, which is why I think, toplessness laws, I think they're perfectly fine for people to be topless, because after a day or two, you don't care. And on the converse, actually, one of our graphics guys went to Iran for an extended period of time, and after a couple of weeks, he said, "Man, I'd see like an ankle and I'd think, ooh, ankle." So these things are malleable, and while I don't like that there's a double standard, I do understand it, but I do think over time it could change. Next, this is a new Twitter account that started that kind of weirded me out a little bit. It's Love John Iadarola, with the name Love for J. Iadarola. "We are now taking applications to date J. Iadarola." And the description is that they're trying to find the right person for me. Now, I think that they're unlikely to have much of an effect on my dating life since they have 9 subscribers so far. But thank you very much for trying to help. Understand that if I ever decide to get back in the dating game, I'm very busy. Don't have a lot of time for it. I actually love my work. It's both my work and my hobby. There's not a lot of time for it. I'll probably do the choosing myself. Although if you want to recommend people, who wouldn't want the help, I guess. Finally, Jeremy Effinger, this is Jeremy Effinger, says, "You play any MMOs these days? If not, got any in the future you're looking forward to?" And he also recommended EVE Online. I have played EVE Online in the past. Unfortunately, it was just too time-consuming for me. And while I think it's interesting and I like the way that skills are leveled up and all that, it's just not a game that really stuck for me. Have I played any MMOs these days? I did try out Neverwinter. I also very briefly tried out Defiance. But unfortunately, I have to say at this point, I don't think my life is set up in a way that I can play MMOs. Any game that I play, I have to be able to get in and get out. Sometimes I make way for something like, Dead Island Riptide or Tomb Raider or the new Tomb Raider, Borderlands 2. Something like that I can play in one day and then be done with. But in terms of things that I'm going to play multiple days in a row, I've already got League of Legends. It's very difficult to fit in another game. I miss the days of playing EverQuest and things like that. I did have a lot of fun with that, Lord of the Rings Online more recently, but those games just take over your life and I just don't have time for it right now. So those are the comments from this week. If you'd like to be featured on a future weekly roundup, just feel free to tweet me. And if it's interesting, catches my eye, I'll include it. Love hearing from you guys. It's one of the most fun parts of my job.